It is done. It is official. Manchester City have Ilkay Gundogan back. And as you can see from the video title, probably, Manchester City is winning the Premier League. And probably, hopefully, in fact, no. We should win more than just the Premier League. We should win more than just the Premier League. Premier League alone is almost not good enough this season. Almost. So let's talk about why. And we'll go through the entire squad here. Obviously Scott Carson, I don't know why I have his full name here, but obviously Scott Carson is our goalkeeper. Ortega and Ederson, these two scrubs can go over here. And Oscar Bob is injured, so we won't be talking about him too much. But let me just talk about why the Premier League alone is almost not good enough. It's because of the depth we have. Because of the insane depth. And obviously, Gundogan here, I'll give you a color in fact. I'll give you a golden color. This is close enough to gold, right? Not really. It's close enough. It's close enough. But he gets to be gold because he is our golden signing. And he almost makes this window a 10 out of 10. But not quite, and I'll get to that in a bit. But first, let's talk about the depth he suddenly provides. Obviously, Rodri was dying. His doctor called Pep Guardiola and said, "Mate, this guy needs help." Because he actually does. Now, we have help. And those are these three players. O'Reilly, Kovacic, Gundogan. I've already said my opinion about Gundogan. I don't think it's the right choice because I think we are going for a short-term solution and as a club we should be moving on to a long-term solution. With that said, in the scope of this season, he is most certainly going to be splendid for Manchester City. I do not doubt that whatsoever. He will also give us depth in cups, and this is what we're going to talk about. This is something of the lineup I would be expecting in the Premier League. I would expect Oscar Bob and Savio to start if Bob was not injured. But Bob is in fact injured, so I expect Doku to start quite a bit and Grealish to force Savio onto the wings. But let me just take you through this for a minute, yeah? Let me show you how many different lineups we can make. So this is an entire lineup, right? I'm not allowed to use a single player for this lineup and I have to make a new squad for a cup game. Let's try it. Akanji out, Diaz out, Gvardiol out, Rico Lewis out, Rodri out, Foden out, and De Bruyne as well. Come on, De Bruyne. Doku, Haaland, and Savio. Now I have to make an... Oh, well, Carson, you have to go as well. I suppose Ortega can play. Okay, so I have Ake as my left back. Walker as my right back. Stones, obviously I have a centre back to Little. I have Silva in midfield. Kovacic in midfield. Or Gundogan. Either Kovacic or Gundogan. Depends on who plays the most in the Premier League. So I suppose Kovacic, or you can even have Kovacic and Gundogan. You can do that too. And now you can have Grealish as your left winger. O'Reilly, who can play very high up. Or as a defensive midfielder. You can do one of two. You can say, okay, O'Reilly, you're gonna play here, and then Bernardo Silva maybe goes on to the right, or maybe into an attacking role, something like this, right? And voila, you have a decent lineup. You don't have a full lineup, of course, and all you have to do is plug one or two players in, and suddenly, voila, you have an entire squad ready for a cup game. Ake, Kovacic, Gundogan, Grealish, Walker, Silva. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 players of high quality to be completely rested for a cup game. Let's say Carabao Cup. Do you realize how insane that is? Do you actually realize how insane that is? Then you can always slot another player in. Obviously, I want to have a back 4, not a back 3 here. So let's say we slot in, I don't know, Gvardiol. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Let's say we slot in Gvardiol. Voila. Now Ake moves into the centre back role, or maybe Gvardiol does, depends. Then you have your back four, and now all you need is a striker. And that is why I said that this transfer window is almost perfect. Almost. If we get that striker, or a midfielder that can play as false winger, it is perfect. It is perfect. Because you pretty much have two lineups all season long. With two players in each position. Two players as right back. Two players as the right-sided centre back. Two players as the left-sided left back. Or well, even three. And two of which can play as left back as well. You have... what? You have 3 players. 4 players. You have 4 players who can play as defensive midfielder now. We went from having 1 player and a half. I think we can count Kovacic as a half player last season because he wasn't as excellent as he was against Chelsea. But now we have 3.5, maybe 4 players who can play as defensive midfielder. De Bruyne, Foden, 2 attacking midfielders. Savio, or well, I think Silva wants to play a more midfield role, so I think we can call Silva the hybrid. Here. So I'll put them in between these two. We have Savio Grealish on the left. We have Oscar Bob Doku on the right. The only players that we do not have covered for, and you have Ortega and Carson as goalkeepers. Let me stop with this Carson joke. It's not funny, I know. I'm not funny, I'm sorry. The only player we do not currently have covered for is Erling Haaland. Get me that Erling Haaland covered, and this is 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. With this type of situation, you have all your players being constantly rested. You have all your players, your big players are only playing the big games, I suppose, and then you have the lesser games like Ipswich Town, pretty much rolling out an entire B team and still very capable to win. I think you put, let's say randomly, yeah? Let's go randomly. Gvardiol, Ake, Akanji, Walker. I think that is good enough to win against, like, let's say Ipswich. Let's say we play against Ipswich. These 4 are good enough. Let's say Kovacic, O'Reilly. Shall I put 3 midfield? I think I shall. So let's say Kovacic. I'm not sure about a double pivot though. Let's maybe go Kovacic, Silva, Foden. And then you have Grealish, Doku, because Bob is injured at the moment, Haaland. We can win with that lineup against Ipswich. We can win with that lineup against a weaker Wolves side. Also, here is one thing I need to warn everybody about. Be very careful about Brentford in the second half of the season, yeah? Because Brentford has a new striker called Igor Thiago. And I'll show you guys this guy, yeah? Igor Thiago. And you guys don't know him, yeah? You guys don't know him yet. But be careful, yeah? This guy is a proper baller, and I think he is perfectly made for the Premier League. On a side note, yeah? He is just the perfect Premier League striker. So, against Brentford, I will be very careful against bringing out a weaker defensive side. Bring out your proper defense, yeah? Because this guy is going to a top club in 2 seasons from now. Anyhow, that was complete side tangent there. This is a perfect squad. You have all the depth in the world. With that kind of squad, you can go kick on 3, 4 competitions. I'm not saying win them all. I'm saying compete in them all. And if we don't win the Premier League, but let's say we win the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, and the Champions League. I'm not going to sit here and say we should have won the Premier League. Obviously, that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. But if we do not win the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, or Champions League, I think Premier League is a bare minimum with the squads that we have now. And that is what my point here is in this video. With the squad, pure depth, pure lineups that you can make so many different lineups, and I could sit here for 50 minutes making good lineups, unique lineups that I think could work against certain teams. It's actually insane. It is so close, just so close. Just get Haaland that cover here, so close to being perfect. If Julian Alvarez never left, it would be perfect. And I think Julian Alvarez leaving was probably a good thing for him. Probably is better for his career. But still, it would be perfect if he still had Alvarez won it. Just get a replacement for, backup for Haaland, who can play in the cup games, who can play in the lower games, who can play if Haaland is injured. Then this transfer window is perfect. I think Manchester City should be looking at winning the Premier League and Champions League. I want to win the Champions League against this Real Madrid team. Because Real Madrid is probably not going to hold on to their current full 3 forwards, since it's too many cooks in our kitchen, right? They all want to be in the same place. Maybe that was just some weird tactics by Ancelotti, which didn't end up working out. I pointed it out in the Atalanta game, yeah, where Rodrigo and Savio, if you watch my watch along, you know this. Rodrigo and Vinicius always followed where Mbappé was going. And you should pay attention to this, yeah? When Mbappé went to the left, Rodrigo and Vinicius went to the left. When Mbappé went into the middle, Rodrigo and Vinicius went into the middle. I want to beat this Real Madrid team. But we have Rodrigo, who may leave, may not leave. Savio. Why do I keep saying Savio? Vinicius and Mbappé. I don't know how long they will hold on to that. Maybe they'll have that lineup for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Maybe it will only be very short term. Whichever the case, I want to beat it. And this is how we do it. By lining up complete B teams in the league and still winning games. So we can go into the Champions League, let's say 3 points ahead in the Premier League, maybe 5 points ahead in the Premier League, maybe even 6 if we are lucky. Going up against Real Madrid, who has to worry about their league form, right? It's playing big name players, their full strength lineups in La Liga. Then going into Champions League, I want to beat them. I really do. Maybe Pep Guardiola wants to do something different. We will see. All I'm saying is this could be a very, very entertaining season. So this was a bit of a ramble fest, this video. I suppose I'll make my next video a bit more concise. My last 2 videos have been very unconcise, have they now? I really need to make some better, more concise videos here soon, because you guys might grow bored of this pretty quickly. So yeah, anyhow, that is all for me. Please do like and subscribe. Tell me down below what you think about all of this, as always. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.